Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Monday, November 24th. Ooh, it's Thanksgiving week. We are going to get into the thick of it. Hopefully you are all ready to see your family and friends, and you've got your armor up, and your ability to cope really is high, because that's what you need sometimes. And if you need an escape hatch, like you're out there and you're like, oh, I just want to run an idea by Jill. I don't want to engage with my family right now. We're here for you. So if you've got a financial question, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com. You click the Contact Us button, which is in the upper right-hand corner. Write us a note and let us know if you'd like to come on the air by checking the box. That way Mark can do everything else on your behalf. While you're on the website, check out all the content that lives there. We have another podcast. It's called Money Watch, which is released on the weekends. We've got a radio show. We've got a blog. We've got videos. We've got resources. And you must sign up for the free weekly newsletter. Comes out every Friday. And Mark does a great job with that. Right now, let's go to listener Vicki. She joins us from the Mid-Atlantic region of the United States. Hello, Vicki. How are you?
I'm good, Jill and Mark. How are you?
We are great. What can we do for you?
I called you guys about maybe 2.5 years ago, specifically to do the things that I did, and then I did them. And then I'm like, well, now things have changed, and I'm thinking about undoing them, but I'm really worried that it's going to really mess up my retirement, because even though I don't regret doing a big move, it will not be good financially to move back. So that's the big question.
So what do we do and what do we have to undo? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what's going on.
Well, where I am is I moved out to the west part of the United States to be near family, and then they moved back.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Stop it. That is crazy.
But it's all good. It's for the benefit of them. But so then my husband and I are like, well, what are we going to do now? Are we going to stay out here, which is 2,500 miles away from family as we age? And I'm like, really, I'm okay being here if I have family here, but I don't.
Right.
And so going forward in our lives, we do not want to be that far away from our families. So then moving back is where we're trying to work towards getting.
So at this point, let's see, are you guys working? Where are you in the, yeah?
So he is. I have retired. He's working. He had a taste of retirement. He liked it, but he went back to work.
Okay.
He's part of the federal.
The furloughs?
Yeah. Well, more than that, the retired type of thing,
okay.
That. Yeah. So he wasn't sure if he wanted to retire initially, but then when he had the little taste of it, he's like, I kind of like this. But he did go back to work, maybe for a year or so, hopefully not longer than a year. And then we hope to get back to the Southeast.
Okay. So did you buy a house when you moved to the West Coast, or are you renting?
Yeah, we bought a house, and there's where the financial hit comes in.
Okay. I got it. Okay. First of all, Vicki, how old are you?
I am 66.
And your husband?
69.
And how much did you pay for the house?
Oh, we paid $825.
Is there a mortgage on it?
There is not.
Okay. Is the house worth less now because of just the timing issue?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think it's worth?
I think we might clear about $760 if we hope to.
And what about other money that you guys have saved? How about retirement assets?
Yeah, we do have, my husband has 1.2 and I have 500K. Those are in the pre-tax accounts.
Okay. So those are traditional accounts. And what about non-retirement accounts? Any money in non-retirement? Or do you have Roths also?
Well, we have a very small Roth, $26,000.
And what about brokerage?
The brokerage account is not invested in anything other than CDs, because right now we're considering it as a short-term. It's earmarked for moving and getting another place to live. So we have $96,000 in that.
Are you, either of you, collecting Social Security?
I am.
How much is your Social Security?
Before taking out anything, it's about 18,000 a year.
What about him? Is he waiting for 70?
Yes.
And what will that be? What will his benefit be?
That'll be about 57,000.
How do you think that you will do on that combined income, right? So like 75 grand of pre-tax money. How will that do for you guys?
And then he has a pension.
Oh, tell me about the pension.
Okay, the pension, which hasn't materialized yet, is going to be about 58,000 before anything is taken out, but then it'll probably net somewhere around 40 or so. 40?
Why so little? That seems like a lot.
Right. I guess after taxes and healthcare.
So is it okay? So healthcare will come out of the pension. Right. So in your Social Security, it's just gross with pre-tax. But so you'll get that, and so let's say out of your gross, can you guys live on 100 grand a year net? That's my question. Net. Right now, yes. If we move and get a house, we will probably have to get a mortgage. What if, wait a minute. Okay, just where we are right now, you bought this house, you don't have a mortgage, but you live in, probably a high cost of living area, but like the 100 grand a year about covers your needs today. Yes. Okay. And if you were to sell your house and clear, I'm just going to say 750 grand. Okay. And we now have, instead of, 95,000 in your brokerage, we have about let's just say we have $850,000 in brokerage and CDs, and you guys move someplace to the Southeast and you rent. And your rent is, I'm going to make it up, $4,000 a month. Could we find something for $4,000 a month for you guys? Yes. Okay. So then could you live on 100 grand a year if you had a $4,000 a month rent? Yes, no, maybe not? Probably not. Okay. So I get where you so for today, if you just stayed put in your 60s for, another couple of years, you could hang where you are and it'll be okay. Yes? We want to get back to the Southeast because there's not a lot to do where we're at right now. Okay. And what do you think it would cost you to buy something in the Southeast that you'd, not like you're absolute, like, oh my God, this is where we absolutely want to be, but like, where do you think you'd have to spend? Well, we could spend anywhere between about $925 to about 1.1. Well, this is not going to work. No. In that way. Okay. Nope. Because you're not going to soak up the liquidity that you have by selling your house and buying something and living so close to the edge, because the money you have, that you will have coming in is a good chunk of money, but like you're still going to have expenses. Like if you bought that house for $1 million, okay, just to put it out there, and that meant you'd had to take 250 grand from somewhere, right? Because you're not getting a mortgage right now, because that'll blow everything out. So that means we'd have to reduce your traditional accounts from, 1.7, and now we take 250 out, you buy a house. And that doesn't leave you with a ton of room in your path forward. And if you had $1 million house, you'd have to keep it up. You'd have to, like, is that 100 grand a year going to be enough? It doesn't sound like it. I think that the issue is you're young and you could live a long time, right? So is the pension, does it have a cost of living adjustment? Yes, it has a cost of living adjustment, but it's 1% below inflation. If it's over a certain amount. What you're suggesting, or what your ideal scenario would be, right, to have this $1.7 million of traditional money, and you say, okay, let's use some of that money to buy our home, our future home in the Southeast, right? Which you would never do immediately, by the way. You would first rent and make sure you like where you're living, and you rent for a little while. And then if we took, because we have to pay tax on the money you take out. So, if we consider what would happen if you were left with, let's call it 1.3 in traditional, as opposed to 1.7, right? And then you had your Roth and your brokerage, but you have just the main source of your safety net for the gap between any income and what your needs would be is this $1.3 million in traditional. And so, I mean, I can be convinced that it's okay. It's not ideal. Sometimes these numbers don't all jibe perfectly. So sometimes when people say to me, you know, the house was worth 825, we would clear 760, and then we come to find out, really, no, they really only cleared 710, and the house that we thought was $1 million was really going to be 1.2, and that there are these gaps that form, and that's where I'm having hesitation. I think that, like, if I knew 100% that you could kind of do this and lock in and you could buy a house at 900, and that we were being overly conservative about what you would clear, and maybe you really, you know, you could do this, but it's close. And I get that you want to move. Is there a middle ground where, you know, I get your husband wants to stop working, but like, so if you moved, would we, you know, there's no work for either of you, or would you work part-time? Is there any way that we can have a little bit of a buffer?
I have the same hesitation that you do. I do not want to take that money out of our retirement account, but I was wondering about the option or the feasibility of taking the cash from the house sale and so we have a year of income that we're coming in now. So we plan to save about $60,000 this year. So forgetting that, but take the brokerage money. It doesn't really matter where it comes from, but take the 90 plus the 750, like you said, that would be 850. Put it towards a house, and that leaves on the high end. I'm going with the high end, about a 250 mortgage. If I did a mortgage for 10 years, I think the cost would be about $32,000 a year just for principal and interest. And I wonder if that would work. The reason I am wondering about that is because when I run the numbers, if we don't take out money and put it somewhere else besides keeping it in the pre-tax accounts, then we're going to have higher and higher IRMA costs later on. And and then higher and higher withdrawals. And it shoots me into a like 30+% towards the end. Okay, so if I do it this way, when I project it out, it looks like it's going to keep me in the 22, 24, and keep us out of IRMA perhaps until one of us passes away. Then that'll put the other person in the IRMA brackets. That's what I was wondering. If something like that would work.
I think it works, like, by the book. I think it can work. But life is so weird. And so, by the way, everyone listening, IRMA, which so a lot of people don't realize this, it's called Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. That when you have more money coming out of your retirement account, that means you have more income. And when you have more income, there are surcharges for Medicare Parts B and D. And that's this surcharge, this IRMA. And it maxes out, at I don't know, $530 a month. But that's if you have income of more than, for marrying, filing jointly, of $750,000. But it's hundreds of dollars a month, and it's extra cost. I guess my bigger hesitation is that this is predicated on everything's just fine, and we don't have something big that happens. We don't have an illness. We don't have something like where I have to have something covered that's not covered by Medicare, and I have to do this thing, and I need $100,000 out of this account in a hurry. And 30 years is a long time to support yourselves. So do I think that, as I said, by the book with a calculator in hand, do I think this can work? I do. I think there are so many variables. If everything goes great, great. But if everything doesn't go great, then I think we've got some issues. So if I were you, I might think about, we sell the house. We know we want to get off the West Coast. This was an interesting experiment. Fine. You sell the house. You put the money in the brokerage account. You chill out. You rent for a year. You see where you stand in a year and where you really want to be. And then maybe you decide that, you can make different decisions about going forward. I would not buy out of the gate. There's no way I would do that. I don't know. Like, I don't trust your family and where they're moving. And I think that if you did that, at least we could have like an interim year or so. And you can also say like, well, how much is it costing us to live where we are? You have a better sense of your expenses. You'll have the pension. You'll have this money. Your husband will claim Social Security. And now you really see what your cash flow is. And you can really get a sense of like the marriage of what's coming in and also like what is going out. Because I don't know. I don't know. So I think it is all possible. I just would go slow.
Right.
Is that disappointing to you?
Of course. Yes, it is disappointing. And I will say that we do know this area really well. We lived there for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So that isn't quite the issue. Mm-hmm. But the house that we, it's not a cheap area. It's really expensive. But yeah, there are homes that are smaller that would meet our needs that are like closer to the 900 mark, which really that's a big difference. That's
yeah, that would be a much bigger than, that extra 200,000 is a big difference for you, right? If you sold and you rented for a year, so what? Throw the money away for a year. Even if it's going to take you a while to find a house, right?
Right.
Unless you're going to like shack up with your damn family who moves around so much.
Right.
But like if you sold your house and you rented.
We're renting now, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you did that and you sell the house that you currently own, the 825 house, make sure you take your time, you find the house, and you're really much more focused on the lower end than the higher end. Mm-hmm. Then you may be able to do it. And then you take the money out of the traditional. And you're not going to get a mortgage. You're just going to pay for this thing and you'll see where you stand. And then maybe it'll be just fine.
Right.
As soon as you said 1.1, that my antenna went up.
Trust me. So did mine. I'm like, gosh, that is a lot of money now. I know nowadays people sometimes act like it's not, but it really is to me. But the other option is just to live about 3 hours away where the cost of living is substantially less.
Well, I like that, but I mean, I don't know if that defeats the purpose.
No, like not really.
Or maybe 3 hours is a perfect amount of time.
Not really. It's not bad, and it's a beautiful place to be, and the cost of living is a lot less. So it's got.
All right. Well, now you got me. Yeah. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now you're swapping one house for another house, and you can live on it, and like makes me that these are all adjustments that seem reasonable.
Well,
make the move.
I really appreciate you guys talking with me because your reservation about the whole thing is precisely the reservation that my husband and I have. And he tends to want to look 3 hours away because he is not happy about the possibility of having a mortgage after working so hard to not have one.
That's exactly right. And also at a time in your life when you're going through these big transitions, it is very, very hard to say, I'm on the hook for this thing. I get it. I totally get it. All right. So I think that we have a game plan. Stay in touch with us. Let us know how you're doing. And if we can do anything else and we can walk you through other ideas, and maybe you'll be happily surprised, and then maybe the house sells for $850 and it's not, whatever, something happens, or you have a better number. All of these things can change, and we are here for you. So thank you for getting in touch with us. And it's not so dramatic. It's just Mark and I are nervous Nellies. Mark, we are nervous Nellies in general.
I'm still stuck on the idea of moving across the country for my child, and I get there and my child moves back.
I'm gobsmacked by that, but I didn't want to dwell on it. Okay. If you are considering a big move one way or the other, you want to upscale, you want to downsize, you want to move towards family, you want to move away from your family, you want to do something in your life that's going to impact your money, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the contact us button, write us a note. If you would like to join us on the air, just check the box. Mark will do everything else, and check out all the great content that lives on that website. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And of course, we always ask that you leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. Try to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.